Good evening and welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, where we bring you timely, verified, and carefully examined updates on the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese dong, and the wider global currency landscape. Tonight, we begin with a major story that has gained the attention of currency holders worldwide. A leaked internal bank list has surfaced, reportedly identifying specific financial institutions preparing for structured IQD and VND currency exchanges in multiple countries, including the United States. The list is not publicly available. Multiple sources within the banking sector have confirmed its existence and its potential significance, if accurate. This leak could represent one of the clearest signs yet that banks are moving from theory into operational readiness. The development comes after weeks of quiet updates within financial systems, subtle platform changes, and internal training procedures changes that have raised many questions about timing, scope, and the potential impact on holders of these currencies in 2025. The leaked list, according to those familiar with the matter, contains the names of major Tier 1 banks in the United States as well as several regional and international institutions. These banks are reported to have the capacity and infrastructure to handle high-volume currency exchanges at a global level. In addition to identifying the banks, the leak reportedly includes operational notes, timelines, and references to specialized training programs for bank staff. This training is set to focus on verifying currency authenticity, understanding note origin, and processing asset-backed currency conversions. Such a process would not be visible to the general public at this stage and would not be discussed openly by customer service representatives. Rather, it is believed to be restricted to upper-level managers, compliance teams, and client advisors responsible for guiding high-value clients through the initial phases of exchange once any official window opens. These details align with what analysts consider a phased rollout approach to currency exchange readiness. Observers have noted that in recent months, several banks have quietly upgraded their internal foreign currency platforms. In one notable case, placeholders for IQD and VND rates were reportedly added to an internal banking system visible only to staff with certain access privileges. These placeholders did not display live exchange rates to the public but were flagged internally as pending or in preparation. In normal banking operations, such placeholders would only be added when there is a defined intention to support those currencies at an upcoming stage. This has added weight to the speculation that internal preparations are advancing beyond routine foreign exchange activity. While public exchange rates have not yet changed, the act of updating internal systems is viewed by many as a concrete step in advance of any potential revaluation or rate adjustment. It suggests a level of coordinated technical readiness that would be unlikely without direction from higher financial authorities. The leaked bank list reportedly spans multiple regions, extending beyond the United States to include institutions in Europe, Canada, Australia, and parts of the Middle East. This suggests that any potential exchange process would not be limited to Iraq or Vietnam, but would involve a global network of financial institutions. Such coordination would require changes to interbank messaging systems like SWIFT, as well as upgrades to settlement and reconciliation processes that ensure transactions are processed at the correct rates in real time. Several financial monitoring groups have reported unusual activity in these systems over recent weeks, though no official announcements have been made. Experts in the sector note that large-scale currency adjustments typically require a period of silent preparation in which participating banks update their infrastructure before public communication begins. This process ensures that when exchanges do open, there are minimal delays or technical errors. Notably, the banks mentioned in the leaked list are said to include institutions that specialize in wealth management and high-value foreign exchange transactions. Some of these are connected to investment groups that have been quietly accumulating positions in IQD and VND for more than a year. If accurate, this may point to a phased approach with an initial wave of exchanges for high volume or pre-verified holders before public access becomes available. While this does not exclude regular holders from participating, it may indicate that the earliest exchanges will be conducted in a controlled environment. Banking insiders have stated that such an approach allows systems to be tested under real conditions with a smaller group before full-scale public rollouts. This strategy reduces risk and helps institutions identify and resolve operational issues before they could affect a wider customer base. A particularly important detail from the leak involves the use of confidentiality agreements. Sources claim that certain bank employees, particularly those in management or technical roles, were required to sign non-disclosure agreements before undergoing specialized training sessions. These sessions were conducted offline without digital records and focused on secure handling of currency exchange procedures. This level of secrecy is not common for standard currency transactions, but it is not unusual when dealing with sensitive or high-value processes. Analysts suggest that the confidentiality measures indicate the exchanges are being treated as a significant financial event with strict regulatory oversight. While no public confirmation has been issued by any of the banks involved, the fact that employees are being legally bound to silence has fueled the belief that preparations are reaching an advanced stage. For many IQD and VND holders, the most important question is timing. While the leaked bank list offers no confirmed public exchange date, it does include references to internal schedules and procedural steps that appear to be aligned across multiple banks. This kind of alignment is unusual unless there is coordination from a central authority or regulatory body. Financial analysts point out that in the past, similar preparations for major currency shifts have required months of behind-the-scenes work before becoming public knowledge. Therefore, while it remains impossible to predict an exact date, the existence of synchronized training, system updates, and infrastructure changes is widely viewed as a meaningful sign that some form of exchange readiness is underway. It is important to note that public bank staff, such as front desk tellers or call center representatives, are unlikely to have any information on these developments. Banking institutions operate with a tiered knowledge system, where operational details of high-level projects are kept strictly within upper management and specialized departments. This is why IQD and VND holders are being advised not to approach their local branches demanding answers, as such inquiries are unlikely to yield useful information at this stage. Instead, experts recommend that currency holders focus on preparation, which includes securely storing their currency, ensuring authenticity verification, and keeping personal identification and financial records organized. Such readiness would ensure a smoother process should public exchanges be announced. Another element drawing attention in the leaked bank list is the mention of tiered asset-backed currency conversion. This term refers to a structured process for exchanging currencies that are supported by a defined level of underlying assets, such as reserves or commodities. In this context, the IQD and VND are being referenced in connection with specialized conversion procedures distinct from standard foreign exchange transactions. Bank training reportedly covers how to authenticate notes, verify their origin, and process them within digital platforms designed to handle higher-value asset-linked exchanges. These measures go beyond the normal requirements for foreign currency handling and point toward a more complex operational framework. Analysts stress that such a framework would need to be in place before any large-scale revaluation or adjustment could occur. The use of the term tiered also implies different phases or categories of exchange, possibly distinguishing between high-volume institutional clients and everyday retail holders. While there is still no official statement from the banks named in the leak, some external signs support the idea of preparation. Independent monitoring of foreign exchange systems has noted increased back-end activity in IQD and VND currency codes. This does not mean that live rates are changing yet, but it does indicate that these currencies are actively being tested or integrated into internal processes. In past global currency events, similar activity was seen weeks or months before public announcements. Industry experts explain that changes to the SWIFT interbank messaging system, for example, must be coordinated internationally and thoroughly tested to avoid disruptions. The presence of such testing now suggests that multiple institutions are synchronizing their readiness for potential transactions involving these currencies. While the public is unlikely to see these technical changes, they are considered an important stage in operational buildup before any official exchange, period. International scope is another key feature of this leak. The banks named are not confined to a single country or even a single region. Reports suggest participation from institutions across North America, Europe, Asia-Pacific, and the Middle East. This level of international inclusion would allow for a far broader and more efficient exchange process if rates were to shift significantly. It also highlights the need for secure, coordinated operations, as transactions of this nature would require consistent rates and procedures across borders. Currency experts note that without such coordination, discrepancies could emerge between countries, leading to confusion and potential arbitrage. Therefore, the preparation process would logically involve simultaneous readiness among all participating banks, supported by common technical standards and regulatory oversight. This broad scope lends further credibility to the leak, as it would be highly unusual for such diverse institutions to prepare for the same currency operations without a shared directive or plan. The reaction from the IQD and VND, older communities, has been one of cautious optimism. While many have heard rumors over the years, the difference this time is the level of detail and consistency between independent sources. Individuals with experience in banking operations, IT infrastructure, and currency compliance have reported similar descriptions of what is happening inside their institutions. The mention of training materials, confidentiality agreements, and updated systems aligns with what industry insiders expect in the lead-up to a significant change. Still, many leaders in the community are urging restraint, reminding holders that until an official announcement is made, nothing is guaranteed. They emphasize that careful monitoring of developments and maintaining readiness is the most prudent course of action at this stage. This balanced approach seeks to avoid the overexcitement that can sometimes lead to misinformation spreading before facts are fully confirmed. In addition to technical and procedural updates, the leaked list reportedly includes reference to operational readiness checkpoints. These are internal milestones that banks must meet before moving into an active exchange phase. Checkpoints can include system integration tests, staff certification in currency handling, and confirmation of compliance with national and international regulations. Sources suggest that some banks on the list have already completed several of these checkpoints, while others are still in earlier stages. This staggered progress may explain why no single public start date has been announced. Different institutions may be reaching readiness at slightly different times. However, the fact that multiple banks are even at this stage is significant, as operational readiness is typically one of the final steps before a major project moves forward. It is a clear sign that preparations are not theoretical, but actively progressing toward implementation. From a regulatory perspective, any large-scale currency adjustment would require oversight from bodies such as national treasuries, central banks, and financial regulators. While none have made public comments regarding the IQD or VND in this context, analysts point out that behind-the-scenes communication between banks and regulators is routine in such situations. Compliance officers in the banking sector are trained to ensure that all processes meet both domestic and international standards, particularly in the areas of anti-money laundering, AML, and counter-terrorist financing, CTF. Leaks suggest that such compliance protocols are part of the current training. This would be necessary for any future public exchange, as failure to meet these standards could result in legal or financial penalties for the institutions involved. The emphasis on regulatory compliance is one reason why preparations can take months, even after initial readiness steps have been completed. Many observers have compared this situation to previous instances in financial history, where currencies underwent significant adjustments. In those cases, the pattern was similar: long periods of speculation, followed by quiet but concrete preparations in the banking sector, and eventually an official announcement. In each case, the final public phase only began after banks had completed internal readiness. This historical pattern adds context to the current developments. While past performance is not a guarantee of future events, it demonstrates that the steps being reported now, such as updated systems, confidentiality agreements, and operational checkpoints, are consistent with how large-scale financial changes have been handled before. This perspective reinforces the idea that the leaked bank list represents a real and organized stage in the process, not just a collection of rumors. For holders of IQD and VND, the practical advice from financial professionals remains consistent. Secure your currency, ensure you have documentation proving authenticity, and keep identification and tax information ready. Consulting a tax advisor who understands foreign currency transactions is also recommended, as significant exchanges can carry complex tax implications. The goal is to be ready to act quickly and efficiently should an official exchange window open. Being prepared in advance can reduce the risk of delays and help ensure compliance with any requirements set by participating banks. Even if the timeline remains uncertain, readiness is a step that currency holders can take immediately, independent of external developments. Experts stress that preparation does not mean speculation. It's a matter of being organized and informed. One question that often arises in situations like this is how quickly an exchange process could move once it becomes public. Based on past examples, the initial phase could open within days of an announcement, with early participants being those who have pre-verified currency and identification. Larger banks with greater infrastructure might handle the highest volumes first, followed by regional institutions. If the leaked bank list is accurate, it would give these institutions an advantage in mobilizing quickly, as they would have already trained staff, updated systems, and tested procedures in advance. The presence of operational checkpoints suggests that once approval is given, these banks could activate their exchange processes rapidly, minimizing the gap between announcement and execution. The importance of secure communication during such a process cannot be overstated. The leak mentions internal memos, stressing confidentiality and secure information flow between departments. This is to prevent misinformation from reaching the public and to protect sensitive data during the preparation phase. In high-value financial transactions, even small errors or leaks of incomplete information can cause market instability. Therefore, banks often implement layered security measures, including restricted access to certain systems, encrypted communications, and in-person briefings rather than digital meetings. The fact that these measures are reportedly in place now reinforces the idea that the IQD and VND are being handled with the same caution and precision as other high-stakes financial instruments. In summary, while there is still no official confirmation from banks or regulators, the consistent reports of training, system updates, and operational checkpoints point toward a coordinated effort involving multiple international institutions. The leaked bank list appears to be more than speculation. It is supported by observed activity in financial systems and corroborated by individuals working in different areas of the banking sector. The scope of participation, ranging from Tier 1 institutions to specialized regional banks, suggests a potentially global exchange framework. Whether or not this leads to an imminent public revaluation, the level of preparation indicates that these currencies are receiving serious attention behind the scenes. As we move deeper into 2025, the Iraqi Dinar News team will continue to monitor this story closely. We will track any updates from financial institutions, changes in interbank systems, and additional reports from credible sources. For IQD and VND holders, the message remains clear. Stay informed, stay prepared, and be ready to act if and when an official exchange is announced. This story is developing, and the situation could evolve quickly once the final readiness steps are completed. Until then, maintaining vigilance and focusing on preparation is the most responsible course of action. We will bring you the latest information as soon as it becomes available. Thank you for joining us for this important update.